Hey, what's up, you guys? It's me, Eclectic Witch, also known as Psychic Me. I'm Natasha, and I'm finally back to give you guys another video. If you're new to this channel, hello and welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you can always get the latest updates to my videos. If you are a returning viewer, I apologize so much for this background. I know it's distracting, but just focus on the content of this video and you shall be fine. So, this video, I thought I would, I want my first video back after my mental break from YouTube to be something kind of laid back, but also relevant to you guys, because I still get a lot of questions on my channel regarding Book of Shadows and grimoires. A lot of time I hear the same stuff like, oh my gosh, I like your book, how do you know what to put in there? What's some important things I should consider when I'm making my own Book of Shadows or grimoire? I really like what you do to your book, but I am not an artist. I don't have the skills. What are some ideas I can do for my grimoire to make it, feel more like me? Like, how do I make my book resonate with me? And I've been a practitioner for over 18 years now. I actually just had a birthday on the 20th, so yeah. But anyway, I've been a practitioner for over 18 years now. And over the years, it's always the same thing with, newbie witches, old witches. They all want the same thing. Like, they want tea-stained pages or coffee-stained pages. They want, the beautiful calligraphy, the elaborate, beautiful illustrations and sigils and runes and whatnot. And I totally get it because it's beautiful. It's old world, timey, we see it all the time in our movies and, TV shows. Like, everybody I know, they're like, I want the charmed grimoire and practical magic, blah blah blah, secret circle, all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, but if that's what you're trying to achieve with your personal grimoire and Book of Shadows, this is not the video for you. I mean, I applaud you for wanting that because a part of me does want that too. I don't think anything's wrong with that, but I want you guys to learn, what is some, what's the reference material you need to put in your books? Like, what do I think really needs to go in there? Like, knowledge, wisdom wise. And then what are some tips and ideas that you guys can do creatively with your books? So, because, don't, be proud to be different. Make your book individually unique for you. Make it resonate with you. So, I thought for this video, since it's relevant, I should show you guys my, my collection of grimoires over the years. Now, I know it looks like a lot, but like I said, 18 years, right? So, this is my collection of, oh my gosh, my collection of grimoires over the years. I actually have more magical journals, believe it or not, but these are the magical journals that are actual Book of Shadows and grimoires. The other set of magical journals I have are like daily magical journaling, like my self-readings, my experiences through stuff with clients or with my own personal meditations and journeys and just stuff like that. So if you want a video on how to do that for yourself, your own daily magical journaling, comment down below and I'll be happy to do that. But that's not what this video is about. This video is going to be about making your book resonate with you and what do I believe should be in there. So first, let's talk about if you're starting, let's pretend you're starting completely from scratch. You are whatever level practitioner, newbie, maybe your experience, but now you want to make a Book of Shadows or a grimoire that's relevant to you, something that you are proud of, that speaks to you, feels like you, but you don't know where to start. So the first thing I'm going to mention is, what is the physicality of your book going to be? Meaning, first of all, do you want to make it yourself? Do you have the patience or the skills to do that? Are you willing to, because there is energy when you're building something together, you know. But if you're like me, you either don't have the skills or the resources or the time, you may want to opt up for just buying buying something to be the vessel of your book, because you can always customize it, add stuff, blah blah blah. So if you are not going to be making your own, what options should you consider when you're buying a book? So you can make it digital. It could be, it could be on your tablet, phone, or computer. If you do want it to be physical, do you want it to be like a spiral bound notebook? Do you want it to be like a lot of my grimoires, as you can see, they're like hardcover. They're bound, like I can't interchange the pages out. Maybe you do want to change the pages in and out, in case you want to change the order of it or add something to an entry or whatnot. And if you do, maybe you want to consider, what's it called? Is it a post binding? It's basically like little screws that have like little flat ends, and it's like a photo album in a way where you put the pages in, you close them, and then that's it. Or you can get a binder, and then if you do want a binder, do you want to get the binder that like zips up for school? So, if you throw it down at the park or something during a ritual, it's not going to be getting all dirty or ruined, because that's something to consider too. Now, for me personally, when I buy different journals to be my grimoire and then I just add to it and whatnot, I like it to be no lines. I do have some grimoires that do have lines in it, but I just feel like it gets in the way of when I draw something, or maybe I want to change like the form of a picture, of a page, because you read it like this, but maybe I want to turn the page like this for an entry or something. So I prefer it to have no lines, but I've also found that getting graph paper, where it's little tiny dots like this, these are really good for drawing and writing. I've had no problem writing with this, so I would say either no lines or the graph paper journals. And then this is also hardcover too. So now let's talk about content. Let's say you finally found, what size you may want your book to be. Like, keep that in mind. Is this something you're going to be carrying with you a lot everywhere that you can just put in your pocket or in your purse? Or do you not care about lugging it around, where you can get something big or thicker, So let's talk about content. What are some things that I believe every witch or practitioner should have in their Grimoire Book of Shadows? So this is the meat and the potatoes of this video. So I like to say that I believe that color correspondences are important, because not only is it relevant for candle magic, it's relevant for maybe using different colored ribbons or fabrics, or baggies for sachets. Like, color is more than just candles. It's into every aspect, whether it be ritual wear or other ritual tools you're going to be using for your working. So color correspondences are important. Moon phases are very important. Understanding the Sabbats are very important, like the Wheel of Year with Samhain and Yule and I feel like that's important. I also feel like people, they need to add things that are relevant to them in their practice. But what do you do when you're starting out? Like, maybe in the springtime, you can start making a list of all the local wildflowers that grows in your yard or in your neighborhood, the wildlife. Maybe you could, I feel like you should also have the basics to how to cast a circle, if you do that in your practice. Or maybe you could, let's see, I've added stuff personal to me, like my book dedication and book blessing. I feel like that's important for any grimoire. But you also want to add stuff that's important too, like, do you work with spirit guides or ancestors or animal totem spirits? Like, do you work with any type of spirits, or maybe angels, or work with fae? perhaps you should put something in dedication for them in your grimoires. Because here I have my whale totem spirit, and I have whole entries on that. So let's see, stuff that every witch can put in here. Color correspondences, candle magic omens. You know, like, what does it mean if a candle is a tall, strong flame as opposed to flickering or dancing wildly? What do you do if a candle explodes? Like, what does that mean? How do you dress and anoint candles? I feel like that is all important. Like, candle magic is a basis, you know. I also feel like days of the week correspondences are important, because what if you can't wait for a particular let's say astrological event like the solar eclipse, or maybe you missed the full moon. Like, you know, if it's just a regular day or week and you're like, hey, does the day of today have any significance that I can work into my craft? You know, like Monday is dealing with the moon and Friday deals with Venus, love. You know, I also feel like we should recognize not just the times of the year and times of the week, but also times of the day. Like, there's significance in dawn, which brings in new beginnings and opportunities, as noon is like the height and the climax of the day, where it can be great for health and success, and sunset's more of like releasing, like letting go of something, and midnight is more of like working with your intuition spirits. You know, like, I feel like those things are relevant to every practitioner. I also feel like it's important to write down, like, let's see, because everything, I feel like how to dispose of ritual remnants is also important as a practitioner, because I feel like a lot of newbies, they'll just, you know, they'll be like, well, I did this ritual, what do I do now? And it's like, well, how you dispose of it is also intent into it. But as I'm going through my different grimoires, I'm seeing that a lot of this is based on my, you know, like, okay, in this Book of Shadows, I sort of have like my spiritual timeline, like, you know, put things in here that's relevant for you. Like, I have my magical timeline for how my gifts developed it over the years and whatnot, but not only when you put stuff down, you know, if you're going to be reading it back over to yourself, highlight, add pictures, put color into it, because for me, if, you know, if everything is just like legit writing and I'm looking at it, it's going to hurt my eyes. Like, if I'm actually reading over it as reference material, I need something that kind of breaks up all that writing, that black handwriting. So, sometimes I'll put little cutouts, you know, like little extensions. My goodness. Little flaps. I have a lot of those examples actually in my first grimoire to show you guys. But, like, yeah, you guys feel free to do mixed media with your grimoires. Like, don't be scared. Like, you know, I drew some stuff here. I, kissed in this one with my actual energy and imprint, sort of like my signature there. And then I collaged and wrote in this entry. You know, like, don't be afraid to do mixed media. And then I painted on the cover of this book with acrylic paint. Experiment with the ways that pages can flip, because here I have a little envelope that I use as like a pocket here. And then I flip the page again this way, and it flips up. You simply just kind of tap it. I can kind of flip it for you guys. See, just kind of stick it on with paper and tape. And then also, you guys might consider getting sheet protectors. They use them for usually like musics and stuff like that. I think that sheet protectors are good for the pages you want to protect that you don't want to get candle wax on. That helped me. And plus, it's also waterproof. So maybe if you're doing a ritual and you also spill like your water offering or something, because I'm telling you, it does happen. But yeah, maybe you want to, I painted on a watercolor on this, and then I I wrote over it and I simply just cut it and pasted over this page. So don't forget to layer paper on other paper if you want to, because I don't like the lines in books. Let's see. Yeah, look. I wanted to add more to this page, but I couldn't because I already had something here, so I just made more flip outs. One goes this way, and then one goes that way. And then I also have a bunch of tiny flip outs too. Like, flip outs are like such genius because they really expand the most out of your space. Like, it's just amazing. And then you can also repurpose maybe old jewelry or fabric into your Grimoire Book of Shadows. Like, this was a bracelet I got at Pride Festival years ago with my friends, and I decided to use it as a good memory token for my Grimoire Book of Shadows, because all the energy you put into your book, whether it be writing or painting or collaging or whatever, like, as you're putting that energy and pen and motion into the paper, it's going to absorb that. So not only do you want to, you know, cleanse your books when you need to, but add it with memorabilia that'll make you happy. Like, here I have my happiest memory ever from childhood here with pictures and explanation. Like, it's a little dedication page. Like, I feel like remembering those mundane magical moments, those mundane happy moments in your life will, like, you need to have memories. You need to put memories in your book. Memories that are good. So maybe you're having a bad day and you need to channel good, positive, emotional energy for a spell. You can look back at those good memories and think, hey, you know, I'm having a bad moment right now, but I was really happy then. And then channel that moment in time where you were happy and use that for your magic. So, like I said, I have my happiest child memory, or one of them, in here, and I use that for magic. Because you want to keep that in mind. Like, I also have people that have passed that I love very much. Family and friends. So I keep dedications of pages of them in here so I can honor them. And hey, I also have an appendix from one of my magical books I have here, because I was looking back on it so much during this time. I just wanted to keep it in my Grimoire Book of Shadows. Look, another page. Don't be afraid to, if you do rip pages out and just glue them in there, burn the edges, rip it out, burn it. Make many more flip outs and books, you know? Like, I'm telling you. Cut out and flip outs are like my #1 like cheat sheet for real. And then create your own magical book sigils. I think that is very personal and I don't see a lot of people do it. Okay. My other tip is that throughout all my magical journals, from my first one to my most recent one, this is my most recent one, they all have quotes in them. Not only do you want to put memories that help you, you know, think of the emotional energy you may need to channel for your spells, but I also like to have quotes because, you know, sometimes we're in between, you know, it's not quite the new moon, it's not quite the full moon. You're in that in-between phase, you know, we're going through stuff in life. Sometimes we need quotes to help us get by or think of the perspective that's beyond ourselves. So I like to have little quotes here that, you know, that can make me reflect back in and think more about that. Like, here we go. You must not only become receptive to having guidance available to you to manifest your human intentions, but you must be receptive to giving this energy back to the world. So I like to have little quotes here and there in all my books just to help me get motivated and work more further into my own spiritual journey, shadow work, introspection. So, you know, put things to you that you really want to dive deep into that's relevant for you. But stuff, like I said, like, add your basics in there. I don't care if you're like me, a practitioner for 18 years. Sometimes we do forget the little details, so put your basics in there just as reference material. Customize it, you know, add, if you can't draw, do cutouts from magazine or different books or whatever. Maybe you can experiment by creating your own font, or maybe you want to make, you know, maybe you want to put it in your native language, or, you know, I'm just trying to give you guys some ideas here. If you have little cutouts or pamphlets or whatever from your favorite metaphysical shop, maybe you could put them in your book. And put all the little business cards on the inside of your cover, so you can think back at the, you know, the spiritual community that you have within you. You know, just, I really want you guys to focus on making your book unique for you, because that's one thing I could definitely say about all my grimoires over the years, is that I'm not trying to copy nobody, and that's not my goal. Like, some of these grimoires is just stuff that has accumulated over the years. But to answer one question, you guys, is how do you know what to put in your grimoire? Honestly, it's just a collection of experience as well as the material. I mean, these days there's so much online. It's crazy. Like, there's witchcraft blogs and YouTube channels like me. There's also way more books than it's ever been. And then there's Pinterest pages, like there's infographics, like all knowledge is out there. Just be sure that you are willing to look in the right places, question everything you read, and stay in touch with your spirit guide and stay true to you. So I hope I gave you guys a lot to consider and think about. Like I said, for me, I think that buying sketchbooks, because the paper, I like sketchbooks because the paper is thicker and it's plain and you can do multimedia on there. But also like graph paper. I like it to be travel size because I just bring my books with me everywhere. Add your basics in the front or in the very back of your book so you can use it. You know, like maybe you want to put incense properties, you know, like cedar, sage, rosemary, blah, blah, blah. Then you want to put stuff about maybe trees and plants and gemstones. Maybe put stuff about how to cast a circle, your moon phases, your magical timings, your correspondences. Add your reference material in there. Then start adding stuff that is unique to you. Like, what is, you know, do you have any spirit guides or entities or deities that you work with? Put dedication pages on them. You know, I made a family tree. I had pictures and stuff like that. You know, also add stuff that can invoke something within you. Like, for me, it was adding the happy memory, so I can channel that for spell work. You know, just make it unique, you guys. Make it you. Like, that should be the biggest goal. Once your book is filled with stuff that you actually can refer back to in a moment's need, and your book truly feels like you, it's going to be your most powerful tool yet. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys like this video. If you have any more questions, please put it down in the comments and I will reply, of course. But, blessed be you guys, and I'll see you guys back for a different video. Bye-bye.